All right, let's just get started. Let me. The countdown is on. Let's get right to it. Let me just pull myself up. Funny thing happened here. Funny thing happened here. I completely messed up the the feed because all right. So in a little bit, I am gonna go on. Uh, I don't know why I'm having a mental block. Left past 10, the Letter Hacks show, and I'll be streaming it on this channel. So I set up the stream for that channel, and then I set up a separate stream for this hour of calls I was going to do beforehand. What happened was I connected to the wrong live stream video. I connected to the Left Past 10 letter hack stream that's supposed to go live at 10. And so I was just sitting here waiting for this stream to update, and it didn't because I connected to the wrong stream. Good job, Matt Binder, right? How silly of me. All right, let's just take calls right off the bat. The phone lines are open. But before we take calls, and I'm going to say that the calls are going to be quick because we got about 50 minutes of calls, and then we have about 50 minutes of calls, and then I will be going on Left Past 10, which will stream on this channel. In fact, this video, when this stream ends, it'll redirect you exactly to the new stream. So you don't got to do anything if you're watching here. But anyway, I'll take your calls. Let's see. But before we do that, until someone calls in, busy week, huh? Last time you guys saw me on a stream was Leftist Mafia last Thursday. And on that stream, we were talking about Biden dropping out, right? He's about how bad he's been doing and how all these Democrats are coming out against him, asking him to drop out of the race. And he had just done that NATO event where he called Kamala Harris Vice President Trump, and he called what's his face? It's been a long week. Zelensky. He called the Zelensky President Putin. So last time we saw each other was there. Since then, it's been a busy week, right? Saturday, there was an attempt on Trump's life, right, at the rally. I mean, what a wild series of events there, right? I mean, I don't even know what the hell, like how that even, and all this news coming out about it, like you can't help but like think what the hell's going on. I mean, they apparently saw the guy setting up on the roof like 10 minutes beforehand or before Trump was going on stage. I mean, listen, whatever you want to say, the last thing we want is for any politician to be martyred. We don't want these guys to be lionized and have their fans, whoever it is, become fervent cult-like. I mean, some of them already are in a cult. They already are cult-like. We don't want them getting even more cult-like around an individual figure. It's just unnecessary. No one at this moment in time holds that much power that they will if they were assassinated. It's just, listen, as much as we all look at Japan as like, holy shit, the doohickey assassin with this thingamabob taking out President Abe, and all of a sudden everyone in the country looking into the assassin's beef with Abe, looking into the cult that spurred this guy to go after Abe, and the connections from Abe's party with this religious cult, and then the country going after the cult and the religious party, the political party, excuse me, and them being dismantled pretty much. That ain't happening here. We don't have that. There's nothing good is going to come out of an assassination here. As bizarre as it sounds, I mean, it's just the truth. In Japan, the assassin accomplished something in a way that still shocks me. I still can't believe that's a thing that happened, and the country was like, "Wow, the guy had a point, and we looked into what his beef was, and we agree." I've it's still an amazing anomaly, if you ask me. Um, so and then we fast forward to this week again. We got Biden. Once again, of course the right. We can't forget the right going absolutely. I really do think like it's amazing how little they cared about the people who were injured and died. The vast majority of at least the online right at the Trump rally, like the innocent people in the crowd who were killed, and they tried to make this about everything but the guns, obviously. They tried to blame the left. Turns out this 20-year-old was a registered Republican, and his family are all Republicans, and his dad's a gun guy, and he was the shooter was wearing a popular gun YouTuber's shirt when he carried out the shooting, and apparently they had Trump signs on their lawn. And yes, I heard that like before he graduated high school when he was a kid in his teens, he donated $15 to Act Blue affiliated or a progressive group that uses Act Blue on the day of Biden's inauguration. We have no idea about that, but it's pretty clear from what we know so far. Again, this is a constantly evolving situation. It seems like this guy was a Republican, at least today. Why he went after Trump, I have no idea. The more I hear about this, the more you gotta wonder if maybe this guy was going after someone in the crowd, and Trump just got in the way. I mean, I don't know. This is insane. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, so Trump got hit in the ear, and Secret Service ran up and had him go down, and then Trump got up and wanted to collect his shoes and do a fist bump to the crowd, and I had no idea what he was saying. It looked like he was just going fuck, fuck, but it turns out he was going fight, fight. So that was something, you know. And of course, you had the conspiracy theorists. And really, for this one, it was political affiliation did not matter. People thinking it was all an act and this was all staged, and I didn't think that. That's just listen. Do I think they would use an actual attempt to their full advantage, and that's what we're seeing? Yes. Do I think they would set it up for that it would happen to begin with? I mean, I don't think they would have a shooter aim for the very tip top of Trump's ear. Too much could go wrong there, to be quite frank. So no, obviously no conspiracy theories about this one. And then you got the right claiming that the Secret Service was an inside job. Listen, the Secret Service fucked up, but who knows? We'll find out more. But it was not an inside job, please. These guys absolutely, if you ask me, love Trump based on what we know about how they treated him when he was president. And all these stories coming about Secret Service loving their Trump years. So, more is going to come out. We'll find out more. But man, the online right they went after the women Secret Service agents and tried to blame DEI, diversity, inclusion, whatever. I don't even know anymore. They have lost their minds. They've lost their minds. And of course, Elon Musk took the opportunity to come out full-fledged support and endorse Trump. No surprise there. I'm just glad he's doing it out in the open instead of pretending while clearly being pro-Trump. I mean, we are in. I honestly cannot wait for November to come and go. We are stuck in a really weird, demoralizing place. Usually, the for me at least, the campaigning, the run up to an election, tons of fun, right? It's opportunity for people to really get involved in politics because It's what's going on. Normies pay more attention. So, you have a lot of people paying attention. A lot of political conversations and discourse enters the mainstream. Usually, this is a fun time. Nah, this is not. This is not. Not this year. Not this year. Not with what's going on in Gaza, with Israel continuing the most brutal week so far since, what was it, October, I think. Just, what do you even say anymore? And then just the continuing radicalization of the right, platforms completely fucking up, and in the case of Twitter, X, willfully engaging in it at a company level. You have the Democrats in disarray, and you got you know, Trump going full blown, full speed ahead. Like the guy's already out there talking like he's president. And of course, he picked his VP pick, JD Vance, who I haven't really said too much about yet. I don't think I said anything about him yet on online or anything. I don't think he's a difference maker, honestly. We'll see. And then of course you got Biden has COVID, right? I mean, my God. All right, let's take calls. Right. So calls were coming in, and I forgot to finish my sentence. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, bud, it's Charlie from Washington. How you doing?
Hey,
Turn this
Charlie
up.
from Washington. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, not bad. You know, uh, talking about the assassination, it was pretty wild to watch it unfold in like few hours that like nobody knew anything. Because within like a few hours, there was like the right was posting like they found the guy and it was like 12 different people with the same fucking name.
Oh yeah, they were absolutely they are terrible. Then you have them acting like they are the ace reporters. You have Musk and his ex-employees talking about how who needs the media and journalists when you could just get all your news from X. If you were just paying attention to his fucking social media website that day, you think 10 different people are the shooter, you believe all these different conspiracy theories about it. And all the information that was confirmed came from reporters and people who were there on the ground.
Yeah, and like even the Democratic donation thing might have been a different guy who just happens to share the same. Like I had to tell people at work, like, don't trust. Not even that he's registered as a Republican necessarily, because there's been like 30 goddamn people out there, and
Yeah.
you don't know yet.
I mean,
But
listen, it's we can't even really. They still don't know too much about what's going with the guy. I mean, he's I don't think they
yeah,
found any sort of, I don't know, maybe they have it and they didn't share information. There's no manifesto, no nothing left behind.
yeah, no leaks.
And they
Like,
have this
so my
they have this footage now and this intelligence now about how he went out that morning, and there's footage of him buying a ladder and bullets and walking to the place with the ladder and the gun and setting up and scoping the place out and climbing up the ladder and
my cop
hanging
getting out.
hanging out on the roof. And then there was that story about right before it happened, a cop climbed up to see what was up there, and he pointed the gun at the cop, and the cop ran back down. And then minutes later or seconds later, he started shooting. The guy started. That's when he started shooting. I mean, there is, it is. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, my first reaction to this whole thing is like, no good is gonna come of this because it doesn't really matter what information comes out. They're gonna blame the left, which they're doing. The right's
But
gonna
they're
use
not. They
this
know that
for some kind of.
they're not even really doing that anymore because it was a
Well,
failure.
they
Like I don't
started
really
off
see.
doing, and I'm sure it won't die. They'll still
And there
probably bring it up,
and
but just
no, but
mean it.
there was there was a poll that came out. There was a poll that came out. And the poll was like something like geez, what was it? It was do you excuse me, geez. Been a long week. The poll was like who do you blame for
Yeah, yeah, I've seen
the
that. Yeah,
and the
they
majority blamed the shooter, obviously, and then second was Trump and the Republican rhetoric, and like a whole 10 or 12 points below that was Biden and the Democrats. So like people, the American majority blame Trump for his own shooting. More Americans blame Trump for getting shot than Biden. And I mean, what do you? It's because people see through that.
Yeah, I just think that at some point we're going to see right wing extremists use this as an excuse to retaliate because, we came for their god emperor and they found out he bleeds like any other man does. And, not only that, but the bastard's still alive to exact his revenge. So there's no good that's going to come out of any of this. If it damn well might galvanize a lot more right wingers if anybody isn't already, dead set on who they're voting for,
Right.
which you do not see much movement in the polls because everybody's kind of already picked anyway. But the more information that comes out of it, the more I look at it, it just looks like another mass shooting, minus the leaks. 'Cause usually they'll like drop hints that they're gonna do something. Either maybe they want to be caught and stopped, maybe they're psyching themselves up to it, maybe they're bragging. I did hear that they recently cracked his phone, so we might get some more information out of that. But that's the crazy part is like just maybe they're learning to just not say anything until they do it, and that's kind of scary.
Right.
But
I mean, I mean, honestly, in previous scenarios, like, they still were able to do what they did, regardless of whatever they said online.
well, nobody
Um,
believed them. They didn't take them seriously or thought they were joking or, thought somebody was just hyperbolically venting, because nobody thinks like, yeah, nobody would really just go do that, right? I do now. And actually, honestly, have since Columbine, but like, they didn't really talk that much. They mentioned it at the RNC to kind of pump up and tell him he's a big brave boy. But you know, the RNC just kind of went on with all the stuff they've been normally doing, and they're just kind of ignoring
yeah,
it now.
I
And
mean, nothing
honestly,
even
treating it like mass shooting.
nothing even really. Nothing was even really going on at the RNC. Like, yeah, today is gonna be JD Vance and Trump, but I mean, what has been like?
If JD Vance, by the way,
What happened?
that man. Oh, for being JD Vance, like he's the hillbilly
Yeah, but I'm
OG guy, and he's just kind of a right wing asshole.
yeah,
Fuck
but I
him.
mean, nothing like the past 2 days have been RNC, and nothing really's come out of it. Nothing really. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, I
It's
think just in a dark way, Donald Trump is following his own advice that he gave at the last mass shooting. Just get over it. You know,
yeah. Yeah,
honestly,
they
I'm
you
kind of
really
feeling that
you
too.
re
It's
because
just now
because
you never get to see what we see when
I
we're in
think
the
it's
crowds.
I think it's because they realize that like they can't that it's actually gonna like people are blaming them for it. Like how do you like of course you want to move on from it when people
You
aren't
have online examples documented, like tweets and TikToks and all of that other crap of them doing exactly that. All of
and you
their
have
ads shooting
uh,
at their opponents, where they're shooting up fucking beer cans because they're tough. They
yeah.
use war words to describe anybody to the left of Ronald Reagan and any boogeyman that Fox News tells them to hate for this week.
Right.
Like, I'm used to hearing all of that shit directed at people, and I'm used to seeing crazy right wingers take shots at people
I
who
mean,
fucking
the
don't
most
deserve any of it.
one of the more analogous scenarios that people were bringing up was like these guys were joking about when someone was attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer after they broke into their house.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
these
Some of
guys
my
thought it was
coworkers were doing
hilarious.
that shit, and they're all
They
talking
thought they
about how
thought
we look
they
awesome.
they
The fuck? Oh my god, that was
they thought a targeted assassination was hilarious. They were joking about it. They were posting. Donald Trump Jr. posted a photo with a hammer and underwear and said, like,
it's
"Here's my
because it's
Nancy
be,
Pelosi attacker Halloween costume," or some shit like that. He said, "These
yeah, it's
guys."
because it's
And
because like they don't envision it happening to them because they view us as weak, even though we're also a threat. This is how fascists work.
but we aren't
But
even, because this wasn't even this was a fellow right winger that did this to them. Like
yeah, you know,
it's like it's
another
they
young male right winger, you know, probably got some shit that will correlate to a lot of other fucking mass shooters too. You know, some
yeah
of them
the
just go nuts.
yeah
Like, but
no
yeah,
they don't have
was
like they don't have anything more. I saw like they were they're attacking just regular average Joe schmoes for posting like silly memes or like one-liner jokes on
uh,
their personal social media accounts, and they're like libs of TikToks out there getting like Home Depot cashiers fired and shit like that for posting like something
I
stupid.
know, uh, I know it's in bad taste, but I really want to get a shot of that where he has his fist in the air. Because within hours they had that shit on T-shirts, but what I want to do is put a Big Mac up there and some ketchup dribbling down on it. Because
Oh,
I'm
hold up a
petty
ketchup.
babes.
He's holding up a ketchup bottle or something. Yeah. I
No, he's
mean,
holding up a,
listen.
just a
These
Mac, you
guys,
know.
these guys say that you can joke about everything. Comedy, comedy is legal on on Twitter now because Elon Musk took it over and he's bringing the right wingers back. Cancel
Yeah.
culture's run amok. The lib snowflakes. Oh, they can't take a joke. Comedy, they don't get comedy. They don't know what, they can't deal with edgy comedy. Oh, George Carlin would be rolling in his grave. And then they're whining because one of the most powerful people on earth is, there's some
Yeah.
jokes about him. There's some jokes about him.
I, you know,
He didn't even
I'm
he
sure
didn't
I
even
could come off.
die. He didn't even get killed. It was a failed
No,
attempt. He didn't get
you got a
killed.
botched ear piercing.
He didn't get killed. Listen.
Uh,
Listen.
um,
Do I would I make such a joke? I mean, it would have to be really funny for me to make such a joke, because then it's just not worth it. But at the same time, do I care? No, it's a fucking joke. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Who
I,
gives a shit?
you know,
Like these guys are
yeah,
whining, the
like,
biggest snowflakes. Comedy is legal, and then they're going into Elon Musk's mentions. I don't even listen. I don't even like. I'm not particularly like the guy, but they got Destiny demonetized from Twitter because they sent Elon Musk screenshots of him making jokes about Trump, and Elon Musk was like, "Oh, this
you
is
know,
I must demonetize him personally."
yeah, I realize I come off as a little callous, and you know, in part I kind of am, but at the same time, like, I think it's always a boon when wannabe dictators remember thou art mortal too, and don't, I don't know, I just, you know, aside from the fact that he's a massive fucking asshole, but like, you know, your god bleeds, guys. That's kind of my take on it, and like, I know exactly how he would react if I got shot.
We've
You
already
know,
seen
this
how
now they
it
get
doesn't
to
even
see
matter.
how mass
It doesn't even
shooting problem hits them too, and I think that they should keep that in mind and, you know, take it
we
serious.
know
Fucking
we
change.
know how we know how they would react because they've reacted to things like this before. They think political violence is hilarious. They think punching down at people is hilarious. They think it's okay for them to hurt others and dole out pain to others because they enjoy it and they find it funny.
Like
But
I said, they're
but when
pro
it's their feelings being hurt,
yeah.
they have the
So
thinnest skin out there. They can't deal with it. They immediately fall to the floor in a fetal position and start whining.
yeah, they can dish it out, but they can't take it. Like I said, they've been using violent rhetoric and war words to describe all of their political opponents for as long as I've been alive. So this is just what you guys get. I do also want to quickly point out, like, there are some people who think he might have been some kind of accelerationist too.
I mean, that's
Um,
totally
he
possible.
wanted
We don't know.
Trump to start a like Civil War II electric boogaloo. He
We
might
don't
have been
know.
one of those.
We
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
We don't know. We don't. It could be anything. It could literally be like I made a joke about how. I mean, this guy appeared to be such a right wing gun loving Trump fan that we can't rule out that he was aiming for someone in the crowd and Trump got in the way. Like it's totally plausible, honestly. Like it's
And
it's
then the other thing I'll quickly mention, before I jump off and let you get to other calls, yeah, I don't want to hog up all the time, is who decides to do something that drastic, al- that history altering, which it should be history altering, but it's just another fucking Tuesday. But who
isn't that
decides to do
amazing? Like
something
that's
like
something.
that
Go ahead. I'm
with
sorry.
iron sights? He was using fucking iron sights.
What is that? I don't know.
Who the fuck does that?
What is that?
You aim for the king, don't miss. Why would you use iron sights for that
What is iron
silly?
sights?
Oh, there's so the gun comes with two little prongs in the back and then one little knob in the front, and that's just the iron sights. It's just it's not an actual scope. It's just like a little crosshair on your gun.
Oh, I
It
mean,
doesn't zoom
yeah.
anything in.
I mean, the guy. We don't know. No, we don't know nothing. But
We don't.
we don't know
But I'm
nothing.
curious to know, what kind of a person would do that, just in
I
general.
mean, what kind of person would do anything that this guy did? Like that's we just don't know though. We just don't know. Um,
Like I said,
but I
we
will
haven't
say like
found
it
any
really
instances of leaking, so
it
we don't
really
really know anything yet. Maybe they'll find some in his phone, and he'll just be just like I said, just another mass shooter, just another fucking Tuesday.
but
And
that's
this
the
is
thing.
from somebody who likes target sports. I like shooting guns. I'm just as happy shooting a pellet gun as a full fledged rifle, but I don't mind shooting guns at a target range.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't
I
ever
don't.
want to use them for the real purpose.
Right.
Like,
I mean, for me, like it was like you mentioned, it was really shocking to me how much everyone just moved on. And I don't think it has anything to do with Trump or anything like that. It just really goes to show you just like the
how
world we are
pervasive
currently
mass
living
shootings
in.
are, yeah.
That and just like the news cycle just keeps on going. Just we just had to we just move on to the next thing. It was really shocking to me actually just how people moved on from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
I don't
also
I don't
just run.
what was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Motorhead quote. Um,
All right. So
but yeah,
Charlie, always a
I
pleasure. Let me let you go
yeah, yeah, yeah.
cuz I
Have
got
a good night, bud.
I got 20 minutes before I go to the next stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Oh, how do you end?
Great call, great
With the,
call.
there it is. Okay.
All right, let's take we got about 20 minutes. So I want to take at least two callers. Let's see how many people call in. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is I, Michelle.
We don't need to do that, Renee. Not today. We don't got time.
I was just gonna comment how he was ignored by Messi and all.
Oh, was he?
But yeah,
Was he?
I mean, you really want to make this fast? I already
Wait, I want to
declared
wait.
that
Hold
I'm
on.
a
I want to
false
hear about
flag.
this. Hold on. This is what I'm interested in because for me,
Yeah.
the big moment of the week was that great. I mean, two great games on Sunday. The Euros with England and Spain winning, and then Copa
Right.
America with
The Revenge
Argentina,
of the Armada, I guess.
and then Argentina and Colombia.
But you remember back in the day, when the English were like talking shit up against the American team,
I don't.
and the US team kind of like went like 1-1 or 0-0. They tied,
Oh
and it was
yeah,
like an embarrassment for them. Yeah. And they stopped doing that now when they play against the United States. They kind of
they
keep
don't
it on
talk
the
shit no
DL.
more. So wait,
Yeah.
what happened with the Argentina team and your
No,
president?
basically, the guy told him to go to the Casa Rosa, that like kind of like a wedding cake of a presidential palace, and they just rejected it outright.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I haven't heard like a big like a political statement or something like that, but basically, everybody outside of that, like comment pundits, people online, are just making fun of that, of him getting the cold shoulder. The closest thing is that like the guy that trains Uruguay is very famous. He's Argentinian as well, and he was training for a while the Chilean team. And he was like he tends to rub the conservative. What can we say? Like the either the corrupt officials and trainers, or the people that try to do it by the book, because he's heavily unconventional, but at the same time very cultured and very kind of like left of center and stuff like that. And for instance, the thing that was like kind of like equivalent was when he went with the Chilean team to visit Piñera. He didn't give him the handshake. It was practically like that kind of, I don't know if they do it in the United States, where you go to give a handshake and you go like this.
Yes. Uh huh.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. But yeah, the other thing, I mean, I think it's like interesting for you because I grew up in a dictatorship. So if you want to run in like dictatorship and media 101 with me,
Yeah. Why don't you?
and
I mean,
make use of
we don't
this.
have time. We don't have time today for a full blown. But yeah, let's talk about it because
Yeah, yeah. Like for
yeah,
instance,
after
like
what just happened.
yeah, because I'm gonna say like Patsy's the thing is highly suspicious. The guy wasn't a good shot. This is like
I don't think
kayfabe.
I don't think anything like that for for this.
No,
I just
I'm
yeah.
suspicious, and
You
most of the
are,
yeah, most of the third world is kind of suspicious because
but you
we're
don't
used to
think
this kind of
so.
shenanigans. I mean,
What's the
going
suspicion
back to
though?
football,
You don't
like
think he?
going back to soccer, football,
Uh huh.
association football, is that like there was like prior to this coach that I was telling you about, like the Chilean team was like very like corrupt and highly questionable. So there was like one time that we were like suffering like a defeat from Brazil, which of course is a giant, especially back then.
Right.
So the goalie kind of like made like a deal and did like a fake injury where somebody like shot like a rocket from the stands, and like hit his like also his face or ear or something like that. And he did the whole theatrics of getting hit and stuff. So we're kind of like relating it to that. You can look it up. The guy's name is Condor Rojas. Después que estoy hablando por teléfono. Estoy hablando por un programa de televisión. Yeah, I'm telling my mom that I'm famous. Um, so so basically, yeah,
It's
the guy,
true.
look it up. Yeah, right. The guy is called Conda Rojas. You can look it up. Now, going back to the dictatorship, yeah, there's like several. I mean, okay, going to the most radical thing, the dictatorship even invented a serial killer, a psychopath. Beyond all the guys that were like working on the clock that were who were like psychopaths and serial killers, they made up like a serial killer like in the beach town of Viña del Mar, that's kind of like on the same like I guess latitude longitude as Callao in Peru, to kind of like but basically it was like sort of like the son of Sam Berkowitz, that he kind of like would uh kill people that were like in their cars and stuff like that, and that was actually a cover up for the dictatorship. He was actually called the psychopath of Viña del Mar. It was like a huge thing. Beyond the other things that like if somebody that was like for the armed resistance got shot and stuff like that, the newspapers, because I'm talking about like really pre-internet, so this was like old media. Yeah, the cover story would be like on the front page would be like the communists killed each other, he was betrayed or something like that. It would be kind of like the stories, or mysterious disappearance or something like that. So, and the other thing that kind of like harkens back then is like the attack on Pinochet, but that was like the real thing. And what happened was an incredible stroke of luck. I mean, the devil's luck on behalf of Pinochet, but also because these were like an armed resistance of like school teachers, uh, school kids, highly like people that were trained, but whenever they could, like weekend warriors, not to diminish their like valor or anything like that. And it was like down a mountain pass, and they shot like a rocket from a rocket launcher. And I guess because it was like being assembled, and I guess like the unfamiliarity or something, it kind of like missed the main car where Pinochet was, where he was with his grandson, and hit like the escorts, the armed escorts, and things like that. It was a mixture of that and also like bouncing off his armed car or something like that. And yeah, of course, media, as you're gonna see with Trump, created like a whole like casus belli. So there was like this thing, like kind of like when they the attempt on Hitler, and the wolves on the what's it called, like the wolves hall or something like that, where his bunker in the forest with Strassenberg and all those people,
Mhm.
where the secret police would double down and like start executing people left and right, anybody like affiliated with that kind of like resistant movement. So yeah, I mean it's like that's kind of like fascism 101, like this kind of like great uh the idea of this great struggle, and kind of like being a miracle that he survived. I mean, Pinochet with his ridiculous voice, well, Trump has a ridiculous voice and things like that, would say in his kind of like Jordan Peterson kind of voice that he was like crouched with his grandson while all of this happened and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's the kind of thing that happens in dictatorship. The other thing that happened that you'd like is regarding music. That a lot of like resistance music was kind of like underground, because immediately they threw out all like anything to do with political, all that kind of like folk singers that were kind of like in part inspired by Pete Seeger and stuff like that, and would bring all these like corny like uh, uh, balladeers, like typical like Julio Iglesias and all that kind of like schlocky stuff, like very kitsch, in order to impose like a narrative on everybody. And disco music, forget about it. It was like it survived well into like the late 80s and stuff like that. Kind of like everything was like cryogenicized or something like that regarding culture here in Chile.
Interesting. I mean,
Yeah, punk was something that was like in 1984, and one of the pioneers, we were kind of like curious because they were like using uh, electronic instruments at the same time. They were actually called the Pinochet Boys because they felt that Pinochet was kind of like uh, kind of like their stepfather or some crazy shit like that. That they kind of like were influenced by the regime
Whew.
because they lived under it. They weren't. It wasn't. I mean, I think Reagan Youth was is also like an ironic name, right?
Right.
Right. That's it's the same. It's the same sense of irony.
I like that.
Yeah. And later on, there were like
I like that you guys had your own version of that. That's great.
well, yeah, it's more, of course, it's more like a poignant, stringent because being under a dictatorship, it kind of like influences like the milieu and something like that. I guess like the British under Thatcher, but nobody called themselves like Thatcher Youth or the Sons of Thatcher.
Right.
And yeah, and other bands like punk bands like there was like a garage that was like kind of like uh started getting rented out for like several like cultural activities, and that started to host like art, like theater, performance art that was very like rebellious and a very like radicalized, like especially like from the author that I told Charlie to read, Pedro Limabel. He had like this performance art group called what it was called, like what would be the vulgar name for a mare,
What do you mean?
like a female horse. It would be like I guess like it would be like the fillies or the nags of the apocalypse
Okay.
in Spanish. So stuff like that, and that's where kind of like the punk groups and post punk groups and synthwave groups back then, they were called techno, even though that's a different movement. We kind of like developed their art. There was like even like a famous one called the Electrodomesticos. That's kind of like all Talking Heads. It was kind of like the CBGBs, but in a dictatorship. So at
Right.
one point there was like also what there was in order to like quiet people and give like this fear, this sense of fear, beyond also the military curfew and all of that. There were like a lot of blackouts where they would say like that the resistance groups would blow up like an electric tower or something like that, or electric plant, and there would be like no electricity. So like these people, the electrodomésticos, had the fortune of like having like a Spanish TV channel from Spain recording them, and they came with their own generators, so they were able to do their concert anyway.
Mm. Hmm. All
Yeah,
right, Renee. I hate to cut you short. I was actually really enjoying this,
yeah. I mean, and other
but
things
I need to.
I remember talking about Trump and kind of making the comparisons with this guy from the Rolling Stone.
Oh,
He's kind of like a famous writer from the Rolling Stone magazine.
ah, who do you remember?
Mm, Not at the tip of my tongue. I'll write it in chat, but he's pretty famous. It's not like what's that guy called, Fong or something like that. No, nothing like Benjamin Fong, I think, or something like that. But I think he's very well known. He like always does like a kind of like a analysis of like punk in New York, for instance, or no wave or new wave.
All right.
Talk to you later.
I will talk to you later, Renee. This was a great call. I really
S-
enjoyed just hearing
Stay
about
strong and all that.
about
Even
your
though
the history
even though
and
Trump co-opted this, but still
well, that'll always
we
be all
know
right.
we know what's the real meaning behind it. So
Right. All right.
solidarity.
See you, Renee. All right, we have time for one more call, and then I'm jumping on the other stream with for Left Past 10 with the Letter Hack and I forgot who else is on that show. A bunch of people. We'll take one more call. Doomed live on Skype. What's going on? I've been trying to pay attention to a little bit to what's going on out on in the RNC. Anything coming out of there? Because I know JD Vance is Trump talking today. I don't remember. Majority Report was doing a live stream, but they dropped out of doing the RNC stuff because it's so pointless, boring. I don't know. No, they're still live. They're still live, but they're not covering the RNC right now. They're talking about something else. Yeah, I don't. There's really nothing coming out of the RNC, honestly. I mean, I'm sure people will talk about I'm sure people will talk about what's going on. I'm sure we'll talk about the JD Vance speech, obviously. But other than that, all right, let me grab one more call really quick. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Matt, pura vida.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
We got like 3 minutes. I hate to do that,
don't
but
worry. It was quick. First, I sent you an email for the collaboration and have a resident expert on Latin America alongside the other people who want to work on that.
oh,
So
cool.
just
I'll
remind me
check
of
that
that.
out. Okay.
And really quickly, I'm so glad that your country, United States, has no political violence, that in the last 200 years of their history, there has never been assassinations like here in Latin America. We are so ashamed of our situations here. We're gladly having such a bright and beautiful example of political well-being in the United States. It's an envy of the world. Um, you know, uh, I don't know what happens up there, but a 20-year-old kid who wants to kill a president. It's funny how some groups who adopt that conspiracy mindset now today are saying, "Don't talk about conspiracies. Don't talk about conspiracies." I mean, just saying that it's interesting, but I'm so glad that the United States is such a great example of political matureness.
Hell yeah. You know it. Great call. Really great call. Have a great
All
night.
right. Check your email when you can. Write me and let's see if we can. I can help you with Latin American news
Sound
and history and
sound
all that stuff. I'm open. I'm available for to work and get something done for
sounds
people
good.
to learn.
All right. That was really funny. That was a great call. All right, we're gonna go. Oh, there was a super chat. Let me read the super chat. There's time for me to get to these super chats really quick. Um, all from Renee. Thank you, Renee. Renee says, I'll call due to have lived in a dictatorship. Yes, I'm a false flag. The football player that faked it was Condor Rojas, and the Rolling Stone journalist was David Frick. Oh, okay. All right. Let me before I get off. Let me get ready here. Nope, that's I'm logging into the wrong StreamYard. That's what Leftist Mafia uses. Don't want to go in the Leftist Mafia StreamYard. That's a day too early. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. All right. I am going on the left past 10. Uh Wait, hold on. I'm going on Left Past 10 with the wonderful folks over at Left Past 10. That's Matt from the Letter Hack, Matt Letter Hack, uh, Jake Drogelis. I'm sorry if I messed up that last name. Sandy Scholas. I'm sorry if I messed up that last name. And Andrea Rovensky. I was on there once before. It was a great time. Should be another great time today. Lots to talk about, and it'll be fun to talk about it with people, not just the usual Matt Binder monologue. So stay right here. You'll be forwarded to the stream right away on both YouTube and Twitch. As always, patreon.com/Matt Binder if you could support the show. Other than that, I will see you all in just a second. Don't go anywhere.